It is Monday, May 4th. This is devotion number 34. Turn off the news, get your eyes on Jesus. Towards the end of the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus speaks to his disciples about some things that can be expected as the end of all things draws near, and how sudden the second coming of the Messiah will be. Jesus says in Matthew 24:38 through 39, "For in the days before the flood, people were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, up to the day that Noah entered the ark, and they knew nothing about what would happen until the flood came and took them all away. That is how it will be at the coming of the Son of Man." Now that last part in these verses reveals how shocking that day will be to the majority of people on the earth. They knew nothing about what would happen until the flood came and took them all away. That is how it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. Now, during the times of Noah, there were so many people just living their lives, doing their thing, going about their business, going about their everyday activities, absolutely oblivious to the reality that a flood was about to destroy everything they had ever known, and they would be swept up in it all, and they would lose everything, including their very lives. Now, this is a warning for us, even in our day. Jesus reveals just how swift his coming will be, and everything will change in a moment. Do you believe that that day is coming? Friends, I urge you, don't get so caught up in the chaos of everything that is happening in our day. I encourage you to turn off the news. Stop watching the latest updates about the coronavirus. Stop filling your minds and your hearts with what the media wants to feed you. It is only instilling fear in you, or if not fear, it is instilling frustration and anger at how everything is being handled. Church, we need to get our eyes off of the world. We can be so fixed on the things on our left when it is the thing on our right that we should have been focusing on. Now think for a moment of an animal who hunts their prey in groups. One of those animals will get in the line of vision of its prey as a sort of distraction, while another will come at the prey from another angle, so that the poor little hunted animal thinks that the real danger is what he is looking at before him. But in reality, the actual danger is the fierce predator charging at it from the other side. And so he's caught off guard, and before that little animal knows what grabs him, he's being torn to pieces. Jesus tells us to keep our eyes fixed upon him alone, to be doing what he has commanded us to do until the day we see his face. There are a million different things in our lives and in the world that can distract us. Things that we think are so important, things that get us all riled up and angry about, or things that make us fear and panic and cause in us great anxiety. And we get so focused on those things, and if we're not careful, we will do this day by day, completely unaware of the times in which we are living in, realizing that we are about to stand before our Maker, the Almighty One, the Ancient of Days. Let me ask you, my friend, are you ready to stand before the Messiah? Are you ready to give an account of your life? Do not be too quick to answer that you are, because he alone will be your judge on that. He knows what you are doing, how you are spending your time and your money, what you are focused on, what you are trusting in, what you fear, what you worry about, how you behave in the relationships that you are in and treat the people that you are around, the things that you converse about. He knows everything about you. So let me ask you again, are you truly being and doing what is holy and good and pleasing in the eyes of the Lord. Whether you will breathe your last breath soon, or whether the Messiah returns today or tomorrow, next week or month, are you truly keeping watch? Are your eyes on Jesus right now? Is your desire for Jesus increasing? Is his righteousness what your heart desires? I'd like to close with the warning that Jesus gives in Matthew 24:42 through 51. This is what Jesus says. Therefore keep watch, because you do not know on what day your Lord will come. But understand this, if the owner of the house had known at what time of night the thief was coming, he would have kept watch and would not have left his house be broken into. So you also must be ready, because the Son of Man will come at an hour when you do not expect him. Who then is the faithful and wise servant, whom the master has put in charge of the servants in his household to give them their food at the proper time? It will be good for that servant whose master finds him doing so when he returns. I tell you the truth, he will put him in charge of all his possessions. But suppose that servant is wicked and says to himself, my master is staying away a long time, and he then begins to beat his fellow servants and to eat and drink with drunkards. The master of that servant will come on a day when he does not expect him, and at an hour he is not aware of. He will cut him to pieces and assign him a place with the hypocrites, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth.